Welcome to the Extra Point Show. I am your host, Nick Rice. Week 8 of the greatest team season is in the books, and we had some sensational games. We begin our recap from chilly Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. 1998 Vikings, 1996 Packers. The temperature was just above freezing from Lambeau Field, but it didn't stop the Vikings, especially in the second half. Minnesota jumps in front late with an 88-yard touchdown pass from Cunningham to Reed, his third of the football game. But then Green Bay came back with a sensational drive capped by a game-winning Chris Jackie field goal to help the Packers win the game, 23-21. Green Bay pushes the Vikings down to third in the NFC North, and now the Packers and Bears are right there atop the NFC North. 99 Jaguars, 99 Titans. In a rematch of the 1999 AFC Championship game, this was an instant classic. Eddie George runs for 124 yards and a touchdown for Tennessee and gives them a huge lead into the fourth quarter, but then the Jaguars came storming back, led by Mark Brunell. Down 7 on the game's final play, Brunell throws a beauty to the end zone for Jimmy Smith, who dropped the pass in the end zone, and the Jaguars lose a heartbreaker. Tennessee is currently in a tie with Jacksonville for first, but the Jaguars by a hair hold the division tiebreaker. We'll talk about that in just a moment. 2011 Texans, 1990 Bills. Houston has gotten off to a surprising start this season, but they lost a nail-biter to the Bills despite a 21-6 lead late in the first half. Both of these quarterbacks were on their A game with a combined 5 touchdown passes, but Buffalo did just enough to come back in the fourth quarter, led by receiver Don Smith, and then defensively by Bruce Smith, who stops Ben Tate in a 4th and short to seal a 25-21 victory. Buffalo improves to 4-4. Week 8 of the greatest team season featured incredible performances, and the game balls Charger Do 95 hands out now have some huge surprises. Offensive Player of the Week, Ken Stabler. Well, you can't argue with the numbers. 20 for 27, 356 yards and 3 touchdowns in a big road win against San Diego. And now the Raiders are first in the division. That added to the headlines for this one. But there were some great performances. We just talked about Jim Kelly and Randall Cunningham, but Stabler was just a little bit better against a good defense in the Chargers. Defensive Player of the Week, Ben Weekery. Well, for Carolina, this guy leads a solid defense too that's now 5-2 as a team this year. 2 tackles and a pick 6 and a Carolina win, and now the Panthers are tied for first place in the NFC South. That aforementioned NFC South, it looks like it's going to come down to the final week of the season, and this week is a huge week out of this division. Carolina plays New Orleans, and the winner improves to a glistening 6-2 to begin the season. And right now, the winner of that game might just be thinking about winning the whole conference. Outside of St. Louis, it really is up for grabs in the NFC. That Tennessee win in Week 8 was huge in narrowing the gap between them and Jacksonville, who now have the exact same record at 3-4 atop the AFC South. Houston is making a strong case for itself at 3-5. Meanwhile, the Colts at 2-5, albeit still early, but they feel like if they don't start picking up wins soon, this might be a lost season for the Super Bowl champion 2006 Colts. Week 8 of the greatest team season is complete. Let's check out that Week 9 schedule. All right, we're at the halfway point of the greatest team season, and these clubs are starting to take shape, especially out of the NFC South, where Carolina and New Orleans have stunned the league both at 5-2 this season. They meet at the Bayou, and the winner is right there atop the NFC, right behind St. Louis at 6-2. It should be a fascinating game. There is the full Week 9 schedule with Sunday Night Football from Philadelphia, Dallas, and Philly. That's a big game. And Monday night features a very strong Pittsburgh team in Denver to battle the 98 Broncos. There are 6 teams on a bye this week. That is the second to last week of byes in the league. Buffalo, Cleveland, New York Jets, Oakland, St. Louis, and Minnesota will not play for Week 9. 1996 Packers, 2020 Buccaneers. Despite the many interceptions from quarterback Tom Brady, the Buccaneers are still in the playoff picture at 4-3 this season. Meanwhile, Green Bay's Brett Favre has done a better job avoiding the interceptions, having thrown for over 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns. The winner improves to 5-3, as these two teams are both very good, right in the brink of the final wildcard spot in the NFC. 1972 Dolphins, 2007 Patriots. Well, these two teams will go down in history as two of the greatest single-season teams in NFL history. Miami went 14-0 in the regular season and won the Super Bowl in '72. Meanwhile, New England likewise ran the table in the regular season with a better point differential and certainly better play at quarterback and receiver with Brady and Moss. However, they did not win Super Bowl 42. Brady gets a chance to avenge that at home against the 6-1 Dolphins. Brady leads the league with 2,092 yards passing this season. 2015 Panthers at the 2009 Saints. We conclude our game previews from the Superdome between two of the shocking teams in the league this year. The Super Bowl 50 losers, the 2015 Panthers, have gone 5-2 and are currently atop the NFC South, tied with the 2009 Saints, led by Drew Brees, who's top 5 in the league with 15 touchdown passes. Should be a great showdown for Week 9, and this could set the stage for the winner to go on a run and potentially even win the whole conference. Should be a great game. And that concludes Week 8 of the Greatest Team Season Extra Point Show. Until next Sunday, where we begin Week 9, make sure to check out Charger Dude 95, as we'll have the monthly quarterly report with myself and Danny. Also visit the DreamSeasonFootballLeague.com for all updates, news, and analysis of the Greatest Team Season so far. Until then, this is Nick Rice for another edition of The Extra Point.